Episode 9 is set to end the Skywalker saga and the sequel trilogy itself by writer and director J.J. Abrams and Chris Terrio. This is Mike Zero. If you guys are new to the channel, do make sure to subscribe to see future Star Wars content. Now, one thing that a lot of people are truly expecting to see in this movie is, of course, a proper lightsaber duel between both Rey and Kylo Ren in the film, in comparison to what we got in The Force Awakens and what we did not get in The Last Jedi. Now, we do know that J.J. Abrams is really going to deliver with this movie when it comes to the action-packed sequences, as well as the interactions between both Kylo Ren and Rey in this story, where a lot of these scenes will indeed be unexpected. Now, these past couple of weeks or so, we've been learning a whole lot more about this film, and when it all comes down to one of the concept art descriptions, this is where things begin to get very interesting indeed for the third act of the movie between both Kylo and Rey. Now, specifically, shot descriptions consisting of sequences within the third act of the film, involving both Kylo Ren and Rey engaging in a lightsaber duel on a landing pad that is connected to the First Order headquarters. It's described that underneath the landing pad, there is a large body of fire traveling up the base. The next goes over Rey jumping off of the landing pad and grabbing onto a rope as she slides herself down to the surface of the battlefield, where Kylo also jumps off of the landing pad, taking hold of another rope. It's said that both Kylo and Rey swing over a body of fire and land on a clear spot where they continue their duel. It's said that a large explosion in the headquarters causes a large landslide where Kylo and Rey are running away from parts of the surface of the planet collapsing. The next goes over a speeder chase between both Kylo and Rey, where it's described that they have both of their lightsabers ignited, while both of their speeders are side by side as they clash. Eventually, Rey's speeder crashes after making a jump over a gap in the ground, where her speeder hits a rock as she tumbles on the ground, followed by Kylo successfully catching up to Rey, where he steps off of his speeder, where powerful dialogue is said to be exchanged from Kylo Ren to Rey. So I want to go over a couple of parts about this and why this is giving me flashbacks to the duel between both Anakin and Obi-Wan in Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. So the first thing that I do want to go over is, of course, the body of fire that seems to be a parallel to that of the body of lava that was used in Revenge of the Sith between both Anakin and Obi-Wan. So you can really see what J.J. Abrams is trying to do here in order to create a lot of similarities of the major lightsaber duel that we all witnessed as Star Wars fans back in 2005, between, of course, both Anakin Skywalker and Kenobi. So what do I think about this whole entire sequence overall? I think it's fantastic, honestly. I think it's a great attempt at a lightsaber duel that basically goes from environment to environment, where the whole entire scene is evolving as both Kylo Ren and Rey progress throughout their lightsaber duel and their fight against each other. So the next thing that I do want to go over is, of course, the landing pad sequence. Now, this definitely does match up with what we went over 4 months ago about that landing pad set piece actually being used over at Pinewood Studios in the UK while they were filming. I believe it was during the month of November, if I'm not mistaken, maybe the very end of October. They were using a large landing pad where both Adam Driver and Daisy Ridley were on board of it, using their lightsabers against each other. Now, this is without a doubt yet another parallel to that of Revenge of the Sith. If you guys recall, we had that landing pad sequence between both Anakin and Obi-Wan in, of course, Episode 3. Though it was very brief, this is yet another parallel to that movie. So the other thing that I do want to go over is, of course, the rope sequence in which Rey actually attempts to jump off of the landing pad and grabs onto a rope, as well as Kylo Ren, where they swing over the body of fire and eventually land on a safe area that's away from the fire that's actually pretty much, traveling up the First Order headquarters and burning it down. Now, like I say, this really does scream action heavy, right? It really does. We do know that J.J. Abrams is really going to go all out with this movie in order to truly do something very iconic and pretty much, very adrenaline pumping for a lot of Star Wars fans that want to go ahead and see a very action-packed sequence that involves lightsabers. And that, to me, I think is really going to add up and serve as a great payoff for, of course, the ending of Episode 9 within the third act of the movie. Now, the other thing that I do want to go over is, of course, the speeder chase. Now, we heard about this lightly, I would say, a couple of months ago, give or take. The speeder chase between both Kylo Ren and Rey is said to actually mimic that, or give us that parallel to what happened in, of course, that chase between both Grievous and Obi-Wan, and, of course, the chase between both Leia, Luke, and the, of course, Scout Troopers on Endor. So, like I say, is this necessarily copying? I don't think it is, really. I think that if we look at Star Wars Episode 9 specifically, yes, it is going to have a lot of parallels. Yes, it will have similarities here and there. And that's a thing that's been done in a lot of Star Wars films, ever since Star Wars A New Hope, and even in the prequels. And now that the sequels are really mimicking that of both the prequels and the originals, I think that's a fascinating thing by JJ. So, like I say, guys, I think that this duel really is going to pay off. I think it's really going to stand on its own and is going to be way up there as one of the fan favorites. That's the vibe that I'm getting here, because we do know that JJ aims to make it as big as the Anakin versus Obi-Wan Kenobi lightsaber duel. Anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.